Good morning, it's Lynn here from Destiny Fulfilled. I do hope that today finds you well. The card that I've drawn for the collective today is the King of Cups. So the King of Cups to me talks about compassion, it talks about emotional stability, emotional intelligence, being grounded. It talks about being supportive, mature in your outlook and your feelings. It talks about being patient and loving, compassionate and kind. A very, very positive card, one of very much high vibrations. So this card calls for us to find that sweet spot within us between empathy and what's the word I'm looking for? Empathy, and between your heart and your mind. So quite often we're led by either, one of those things, not all three of them together. And I think this card calls for us to use all three when we're dealing with ourselves and with other people. What mentally feels right to me, what in my mind feels right to me, what does my heart tell me is the right thing, and what does my empathy and my intuition tell me is the right thing. Some questions that you might want to ponder in relation to the King of Cups is what practices can I use to bring me to a center point of peace? For me, I talk about it quite often, is meditation is the key for me, being still for between, 10 and 30 minutes a day, where I can just bring my mind into my body, find that center point of stillness, of peace, and just be there for a little while, right? Before I have to come out and then, get back on to the doing of life. Another question that you might want to think about is, how can you marry logic with your heart-based decisions? So quite often we make decisions, as I've said, with either our mind or our heart or our intuition, but how can we, build logic into our heart-based decisions? Because they need to be decisions that are sound, right? And yes, your heart wants to lead you in a certain direction, but how can you then build logic into that decision-making process to make sure that you're making the right decision and they're taking the right actions at the right time? So another question that you might want to ponder is, when I'm feeling moody, down, a little bit depressed, a bit blue, a bit blah, what's one or two things that I can do to help me shift those energies so that I can become a little bit more animated, a little bit more, lighter in energy, in my mood? How can I lift my mood? So what is one or two things that you can do? And, for me, I've got a little list that I keep on a piece of paper, but I'm also going to put it in my phone, because quite often I have my phone with me and not necessarily my handbag all the time. So I am going to move that list into my phone as well to remind myself. So when I'm feeling particularly down or, maybe angsty or have anxiety around something, I can look at that particular list and go, okay, well, here, I can do this one particular thing right now, where I am. And it will help to start shift those energies, those feelings and that mood up to a more lighter, more engaging, vibration. And finally, when you're in situations where you're feeling emotionally manipulated, and we've all been there, right? We've all been in situations where we've thought, oh, what's this playing at, How can you navigate yourself out of those situations and still remain compassionate, still remain in control, and still remain loving to the other person? What can you do for you to navigate your way out of those situations, and reinforce to the person that you won't be emotionally manipulated? And I don't mean that in an aggressive way, right? Think of ways that you can lovingly and with compassion navigate yourself out of those situations. What can you think? What can you say? How can you behave in those situations so that you move out of that into a more positive feeling, or out of that particular situation where you're feeling emotionally manipulated? Have a think about that before you find yourself in those situations. It's all about awareness, right? So when we're aware of something, we can then and we've thought about it, and we've thought about how we might want to react when we find ourselves in those situations, then we can automatically pull from our memory bank, oh, that's right, I said I would try this, or I said I would try that. And then the answers or the ways around those situations come more easily to you. So it's just about a little bit of self-awareness, a little bit of, self pre-planning, so that if you do find yourself in that situation, you've thought about how you might want to handle it. So a really positive card, the King of Cups. It's, one where we're all in, more stable, more sound, more centered place of being emotionally. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I do hope that your day continues well in love and light, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.